reunified Mewar Ramayana manuscripts, a unique collaboration between CSMVS Mumbai and British Library London. Um, may I request Dr. A.P. Jamketkar sir to kindly honor Dr. Sabyasachi Mukherjee sir with a bouquet. May I also request Professor Dr. Anupa Pandey ma'am to kindly honor Dr. Sabyasachi Mukherjee sir with a stole. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Although Sabyasachi sir is a very well-known professional, still I would like to introduce sir with a short bio. Sabyasachi Mukherjee is Director General of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya, Mumbai, a premium cultural institution and museum in India, which is also part of the Victorian and Art Deco Ensemble UNESCO World Heritage Site. He is also Director of Postgraduate Program in Museology and Art Conservation at CSMVS, affiliated to the University of Mumbai, under his leadership from 2007. CSMVS has undergone extensive modernization, including refurbishment of the museum's main building, its comprehensive conservation restoration, the establishment of a well-equipped conservation center, a new children's museum, an institutional archive, new galleries, and civil research and educational initiatives. In 2010, in recognition of his initiatives, UNESCO awarded the museum the 2010 Asia Pacific Heritage Award for Cultural Heritage Conservation. He has organized numerous art exhibitions and international shows, written and overseas publications, and devised conservation project, exchange programs, and archive projects in partnership with museums worldwide. A frequent lecturer and active member of many professional committees, more particularly the Bizot Group and the UK AHRC. He has also been a fellow of the Nehru Trust and the Salzburg Global Seminar. Bombay Management Association conferred special jury mention award 2016-17 on him in recognition of his outstanding contribution towards the preservation of Indian culture and enhances the glory of museum, and the Rotary Club of Mumbai conferred upon him the Citizen of Mumbai 2021-22 award for his outstanding work in the field of culture. The University of Edinburgh has conferred upon him the duty of Doctor Honoris Causa for the transformation of CSMVS to a vibrant, engaged cultural catalyst in Mumbai. He is also an elected international honorary member of the prestigious American Academy of Arts and Cultures since 2022. Now, the session will be chaired by Dr. A.P. Jamketkar sir, and sir, I would also kindly request you to commence with your lecture.
see the slides. Otherwise, he can't. Yeah. इधर नहीं तो इधर नीचे रख लो इधर. ठीक है. Good morning. Good morning, friends and colleagues. Professor Tiwari, Dr. Jamketkar, Professor Pandey, Dr. B.R. Mani, I don't know whether he is here, distinguished guest. This is a huge privilege and an honor to be here with all of you. And I was just, looking at Dr. Chaudhary and his beautiful smile. His smile is so beautiful on his face. This is a memorial lecture. I'll be speaking 5 minutes about the person, Dr. Chaudhary. 5 minutes I'm going to talk about my institute, and then I switch over to the subject, today's subject. And I hope you will tolerate me. I came to know Dr. R.D. Chaudhary very late, unfortunately very, very late, if I remember correctly, sometime in 2003, when he was, in the National Museum as Director General. In connection with some international exhibition, we wanted National Museum's involvement in that exhibition. And that time, I was a deputy director. He knew nothing about me, and I knew nothing about him. So that was a wonderful meeting. I remember distinctly asking me about, my journey, how I came to Mumbai, my educational background. And the moment I said, I'm from Bolpur Shantiniketan, it took in a different direction. And then he started talking about, I am from the neighboring state, I am from Assam. And then he switched over to Bengali. So we started, whole conversation in Bengali. So that was, my first meeting with Dr. Chaudhary. And then thereafter, I received a very interesting congratulatory note when I took over in 2007 as Director General from my predecessor, Dr. Kalpana Desai. The note, I kept it with me. It's a very interesting congratulatory note from Dr. Chaudhary. And that time, I was 41 when I took charge as Director General. I had aspiration. I wanted to do many things for my institution. I responded to Dr. Chaudhary after a few days, thanking him. And my aspiration I shared with him. Dr. Chaudhary and Professor Tiwari, inseparable. They were always together. I knew Professor Tiwari when he was a professor at the Benares Hindu University since then. But I got to know him more closely when they started talking about Indian Art History Congress. And trust me, I had no idea about Indian Art History Congress. I'm just trying to be honest with you. And they involved me slowly, gradually. Before, the Mumbai session, it was sometime in 2011, 2012, Professor Tiwari and Dr. Chaudhary got in touch with me and explaining, how important it is and it should take place in Mumbai. And we want, Xavier's and museum together host this beautiful, session. And many of you will remember the day-long session at the Heras Institute, and in the evening we had a program in the museum lawn, and that was a wonderful session, and we got to know more about Indian Art History Congress, and the advantage of Mumbai, we are blessed with many legends, cultural legends. One of them is present here, Dr. Arvind Jamkhetkar, Dr. Shoryu Doshi, Dr. Devangana Desai. I was hearing, many young scholars, mid-level scholars, they were taking their names with respect. So all these people, Pratapaditya Pal, they are very closely associated with the museum. I was very fortunate when I entered into the CSMBS. I was interviewed by Karl Khandalawala, and Karl Khandalawala was our chairman for 33 years. So we inherited many things. Very few institutes, where you get to see inheritance. But we are fortunate. All these people, they were closely associated, and still, there are people helping the institute, and institute is vibrant. So the involvement of Professor Tiwari and Dr. Chaudhary, their visit to Mumbai, delivering lecture, and Dr. Chaudhary, he had some magic, I think. He used to develop relationship very fast. Sometime in 2011 or 12, I got a call from him that I want you to attend some session at the Guwahati Museum, Guwahati State Museum. So I was trying to, escape, trying to tell him, Dr. Chaudhary, I'm busy with something, it may not be possible. No, you are coming and you are going to deliver the keynote address. I could not say no. And that was my first visit to Guwahati Museum. Because of him, I went there. I got the opportunity to see the collection. More than the keynote address, my whole intention was to visit the museum, see the collection. And that was because of him. And then we continued our relationship till his death. And such people, very rare in today's world. I was telling today morning, as part of Ancient World Gallery project, we had invited Professor Tiwari to deliver a lecture, special lectures at the museum. And the subject was, never ever imagined that somebody can give 1 hour lecture on a simple subject, sparsh, touch. You remember Dr. Jamkhetkar? 1 hour. And there was a pin drop silence. Mumbai audience never ever experienced that somebody can deliver lecture on one simple subject. And I never thought. And it was so interesting. So these people, they give their life to the country, art historical studies. They believe in sharing, and they are concerned about all of us, that we grow, and we do the same thing, or maybe in different ways. That is their interest. And I thank all of them. Thank you very much. Now, I move to the museum. This way. Yeah, it's not moving. Yeah, now I'm coming back to my institute. There is a beautiful museum in Mumbai, uh, formerly Prince of Wales Museum of Western India. Now it has a new name, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya. And I think all Mumbaikars are very proud of their museum. Uh, this is a cultural hub located at the Kalaghoda Art District. There are other institutes around the museum, Asiatic Society, Elphinstone College, David Session Library, all around the museum, National Gallery of Modern Art, and museum. The CSMBS is in the center. It's a jewel on the crescent. Little bit about the museum, its history. The foundation stone of the museum was laid in 1905 by the Prince of Wales. Later, he became King George V. And the museum was established by an act in 1909. Finally, the doors of the museum were opened on 10 January 1922. It's a beautiful example, one of the finest examples of Indo-Saracenic style, a combination of Western and Islamic architectural elements. But what is interesting, particularly in this building, not so much in GPO, you find architectural elements from all 5 major religions, Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, and Islamic architectural elements in this building. So this is a symbol of cultural unity. Now in this building, we have over 70,000 antiquities and art objects. Many of you know, museum is known for its miniature and manuscript collection. We have over 3,500 miniatures and 250 manuscripts in our collection. We are also known for archaeological collection. There was a time ASI used to distribute excavated material amongst the museums. So we were, very fortunate to have quite a few from the western part of India and from Sindh district now in Pakistan. There are 24 galleries. We have practically everything from prehistory to modern and contemporary art under the single roof. You get to see the human journey from prehistory to modern and contemporary. Here I am showing, the slide, very recently concluded exhibition. This exhibition was there for one year. The ancient world sculpture in conversation with Greece, Rome, Egypt, Assyria, and India. It was a very interesting exhibition. Whole idea was to explore ancient India's role in the world. That was the whole idea. And we didn't get the opportunity to do that in past because we didn't have collection from other cultures in our museums. We could do it with the help of British Museum, Berlin State Museum, and Getty Museums. Besides, 3 or 4 foreign museums, there were 4 Indian museums had participated in this exhibition. In the center, you could notice the huge Adi Barao, Yakta Barao. It came from Vidisha, Madhya Pradesh, Vidisha Museum, and you will be surprised, Vidisha Museum did not realize the importance of Barao till, it was brought to Mumbai and highlighted. It was lying outside in the courtyard, open courtyard, in a neglected condition with a layer of dust. But after this exhibition, you will be happy to know uh, the huge Yaknabaraha finally got little space inside the museum building. It went back to Vidisha and got little space inside the museum building after this exhibition. This is just a, telling you the different roles, museum play. Uh, it is a museum. It is also a repository of art and antiquities, preservation and promotion of cultural heritage, a center for art and culture, an archive of memories, a center for learning, custodians of culture, an academic institution, an open space for conversation, a civic space for communities. And this is supported by the people. This is a people's museum, by the people, for the people, unaided by the government. But we are not complaining. We are not complaining. On the contrary, it's good that museum is not supported by the government. And government is also very proud of this museum. Whenever I visit, the Ministry of Culture or I meet the minister, they say that this is the model, and this model we need to share with other institutes. Yeah, by the people, for the people. We are maintained by the people. So it's very democratic. The whole setup is very extremely democratic. And this is just an example how visitors become participants in a museum. We never ever look at people as visitors. We look at people as participants. When they enter into the museum, they look at, they question, they read, they discuss, they refer. There are certain facilities like interactive computer kiosk and all that. So whatever their questions, they find solution in a museum. That is the way we look at all our galleries. And another concept we developed during this exhibition, Ancient World Sculptures, the gallery becomes a classroom. So we look at visitors as students, that they are coming and they are interacting with the objects. So now I am coming back to the subject. This is a very interesting project. Nothing to do with art history, forgive me. I wanted to share this project when I was approached. I was a little surprised because my background is different. I'm from archaeology. And Ramayana, Professor Theory said that something connected to Ramayana. So I was wondering how I can connect something to Ramayana. Then I found this topic. This is very interesting. You may find it interesting, that how digitally we reunified Jagat Singh first Mayor Ramayana. The story goes back to 2011 when I went to London. Whenever I visit British Library. And J.P. Losty was there. Many of you know Dr. J.P. Losty. He did very extensive research on Ramayana. So he said, Mr. Mukherjee, we found, about 400 folios, out of 400, 300 illustrated from Udaipur school in our collection, but we could not complete the research. The collection is lying in the British Library, and this is to be highlighted. This is, India's treasure to be highlighted, but I also know that there are 166 folios in different Indian institutes, lying in different institutes, and many of them in neglected conditions. So we need, help from India, that somebody can raise little money for the research, and with the help of technology, we stitch them. So I was, I was not so much, this this thing, could not understand his language, we can teach them. It took little time for me to understand what he was talking, that with the help of digital technology, we can bring all the folios dispersed in different institutes all over the world together. I thought, it would be really a good project. Our researchers, our students will be benefited from this project. Why not, we bring them together? So we had prepared a proposal. We said, okay, we will raise money for this project. Jointly, we will do the research, and we develop the software, and this manuscript should be available online. If anybody checking British Library website or CSMBS website, there will be a link, and you get to see the entire manuscript, starting from Balkand to Uttarakhand. So we started, working, and we needed, big money for this project. At that point in time, I remembered Mr. Tata, Ratan Tata. I used to do that, when he was alive, for some unique projects. I used to go and I used to explain to him. So I took appointment, and I met him, and I said that this is a unique project, we need help from Tata Trust. Would it be possible for Tata Trust to support this project? So he said, what is the budget? I said, budget is not, much, about 1.5 crores. And he said, okay, you send me the proposal. So jointly, we had submitted proposal to Tata Trust, and Tata Trust supported this project. And then we started working on, some scholar from Mumbai got into it, the metadata and all that information, folio-wise. But the problem, we faced in our own country, they don't believe, most of the institutes, they don't believe in sharing. So it's unfortunate, not able to understand the value of the project. So I had to travel Rajasthan Oriental Research Institute at least, 10 times. Meeting minister, meeting secretary, that we will not give it up, because they have 66 folios at Rajasthan Oriental Research Institute, and they refuse to share, that we will not allow anybody to do the photography. For such kind of facility, digital reunification, you have to have high-res images. A special photography has to be done. And finally, that is the thing, that the patients, I'm particularly talking to young people, sometimes you give up. You should not give up. You have to have patience. It took almost 2 years to convince most of the Indian institutes that they share. And for that, we had to meet, directors, secretary, ministers, but not given up. And finally, almost all the institutes participated, and we could complete the project. So there were 66 folios at Rajasthan Oriental Research Institute, 2 at Baroda Museum, another 36 folios at Kawasji Jahangir collection, that Adi Jahangir, private collector, he was having, and then 23 folios at CSMBS. So we worked together, and it was a collaborative project. When we completed, I think in first 4 months, about 100,000 people accessed our website and the British Library, and almost all major media press, they appreciated this initiative. It was launched in 2013. So now I am coming back to the Ramayana, Mewar Ramayana, and its importance. The Ramayana or story of Rama is one of the two ancient Sanskrit epics of India and is traditionally attributed to the authorship of the Rishi Valmiki. It is a tale of exile, struggle, loss, and redemption that had assumed roughly the present shape of the central five books by the middle of the first millennium. Not established that Valmiki wrote all seven, but the five references we find in the mid of first millennium BC. During the next millennium, the original five books became conflated into its present size of 7 books and 24,000 verses, mainly through the addition of outer supplementary books. The story of Rama was constantly retold in poetic versions by some of Indian greatest writers, both in Sanskrit and regional languages. And yesterday we had a very interesting session, and I was saying that the retelling, we find more than 400 versions, 400 distinct retellings have been identified. Nor is the story confined to the Indian subcontinent. At a very early date, mid-first millennium BC, a version of it is found in the Dasharatha Jataka, one of the Jatakas or stories about the previous births of Buddha, which form part of Buddhist Hinayana canon. Dr. Jamkhetkar can give lecture on this, his subject. He can throw light on it. Independent versions also exist in Tibetan and Khotanese, known from manuscripts later found in the kept library at Danhuang collection you have in the National Museum, that conform more to Indian original. The story traveled in the first millennium AD, both in its original versions and its Buddhist versions, to the various Hindu or Buddhist kingdoms or Southeast Asia, along with many other features of Indian culture. Reliefs of story were cut on temple walls in Java and Cambodia. This is about the Ramayana. The Mewar Ramayana manuscripts were between 1649-1653 for Rana Jagat Singh of Mewar in his court studio at Udaipur. The manuscript of the text was copied in 7 large volumes in Nagari script by Mahatma Hirananda between 1649 and 1653 and illuminated by Sahibuddin Manohar and other artists in the court studio of Ranas of Udaipur. Jagat Singh and Raj Singh 1650 to 1680. Illustrated on the grandest scale with over 400 paintings. The vivid, brightly colored scenes are packed with narrative details and dramatic imaginary. I will be showing a couple of images so you understand. Unable to show you the link, unfortunately, many of you will remember just last month there was a cyber attack at the British Library. So our link, CSMBS link and British Library link integrated. So we can't open even our CSMBS link, unfortunately. But both CSMBS team and British Library team, they are working together last 2-3 weeks. Very soon the manuscript will be available on our website, and you have to just type Jagat Singh first, Mewar Ramayana. You get to see the entire Ramayana online. So that is the technique, the turning the page. Two of the volumes have been identified as being painted by the studio master Sahibuddin out of 7 volumes. 2 already established that they were painted by master artist Saibuddin, with other paintings being completed in related Maya style, but the volume set in the monkey's kingdom of Kishkinda is in an anonymous style, uh, heavily influenced by painting from the Deccan. So Deccani influence also we noticed in Mayuri painting. Uh, about the Saibuddin, and I will be talking about Monohar, the collection we have at CSMBS from Balkan 23, they were painted by Monohar. Saibuddin was the principal artist working at the Udaipur court studio in the 17th century. His known works from 1622 to 1653, whatever the manuscripts he produced during that time in Udaipur court within that period. By select and inventive borrowings from the type of popular work produced in the Mughal capital, he was able to transfer Rajput painting into sophistication vehicle for the depiction of Rajput society and ideals. That is about the Saibuddin, and this is something I quoted from J.P. Losty. Now, the background of the Mayur Ramayana manuscript, the story began in the later half of the 18th century, when cultural exchange started between India and the British Empire. Many of the royal houses who relished good relations with the British officials and gifted them manuscripts, paintings, and other art objects as a gesture of gratitude. In the early 20th century, due to the fall of many kingdoms, cultural property started coming out from the royal storehouses to both Indian and Western markets. During this time, many manuscripts were dismounted and the folios were separated for the sake of sale, which eventually reached various private collections, resulting in many of the manuscript folios being dispersed across the world. The present manuscript, Jagat Singh Fast, met a similar fate. This grand manuscript on the greatest Indian epic was commissioned by Rana Jagat Singh Fast of Mewar towards the end of his reign in 1649 and actually completed during the reign of his successor, the later part, Raj Singh, in 1653. The manuscript represents the pinnacle of Jagat Singh's patronage of painting and the grandest project ever undertaken by his entire court studio. Rana Jagat Singh ruled Mewar for 26 years in an atmosphere of uninterrupted tranquility under which both art and architecture flourished. The present manuscript is the greatest example of this. The Sisodias of Mewar considered themselves to be the descendants of the sun and recognized Rama as their ancestor, which explains the purpose for commissioning such a mega project. Unlike other Rajput powers who were slowly succumbing to the powerful Mughals, Ranas of Mewar refused to be influenced by them politically and culturally, and this attitude also reflects in the style of paintings, which are rendered purely in indigenous style. Over time, the manuscript was split into separate portions and dispersed amongst different holding institutions. This is interesting. Of the 701 folios, approximately 85% of the manuscript, which contains both text and illustrations, which survive, 146 are held in 4 collections in India, and remaining 555 are in the British Library. It is impossible to estimate the total number of paintings in the original manuscripts, but the 410 non-illustrated folios 300 are in the UK and 110 are in various Indian collections. I'm talking about the illustrated one. So 410 non-illustrated folios in the British Library. Out of 410, 300 are in the UK and 110 are in various Indian collections. In about 1820, bulk of the British Library portion was presented by Maharana Bhim Singh of Udaipur to Lieutenant Colonel James Todd, a British officer in Udaipur who was a historian of the Rajputs and composed the famous work Annals and Antiquities of Rajasthan. The manuscript was in turn presented by Todd on his return to England to the Duke of Sussex, the younger son of George III and a noted bibliophile. It was acquired by the British Museum Library. Then it was acquired by the British Museum Library at the public sale of the Duke of Sussex collection in 1844 and subsequently incorporated in the British Library collection following its establishment in 1973. The very fragmentary portion of the Sundarakanda was acquired separately. It came into the British Library in 1982. I was very curious to know that how later period Sundarakand entered into UK. I could not find, to be honest with you. But it was acquired by the British Library. It came much later. It came into the British Library in 1882 as part of the former India Office Library collection. The CSMBS purchased 20 paintings of this manuscript in the year 1954 from the auction in London. All the folios belong to Balkanda. The Balkanda folios are with us at CSMBS. 3 folios of the Balkanda were added to the museum's collection when the eminent art historians and the then chairperson of the Board of Trustees of the museum, Karl J. Khandalawala, gifted his collection to the museum in the year 1922. So 3 came from Khandalawala collection, 20 acquired from the auction in UK and 3 from Khandalawala. So total 23 folios we have in our collection. The 24,000 verses are arranged in 7 books, kandas, distributed as follows: Balkanda, Ayodhya Kanda, Aranya Kanda, Kiskinda Kanda, Sundara Kanda, Yuddha Kanda and Uttarakhanda. So when you see the manuscript divided into 7 kandas. Now this digitization, the entire process, the digitization of the entire manuscript had been carried out jointly by the British Library team and the CSNBS team. Whatever we could do in India, we did, and whatever they could do, and then that you stitch them, so you get to see. Here is some example. When you open, you see the painting and you also see the text along with the painting, and then the text, the translation I am showing, because translation you will not see. There are some tools that you need to understand the translation. So you click the translation, it appears. Then only translation will come. You can zoom any part of the painting, zoom in, zoom out, that facility, you can do that. And then there is audio, that if you want to listen, interpretation, you can hear the interpretation. And that is the way the page was, designed, that each page arranged, serially. So the way, the whole manuscript was created, the same way we present it online. So you can see, one by one in 7 kandas. So here is an example that the translation the translation of the text. Now now you see the painting. This is very interesting. Dasharatha performing the Putresti Yagna, and you could see Dasharatha. He is performing, and all rishis, surrounded with the ritual. The performance is going on, and the divine, probably the Brahma emerging from the flame and offering payasam, and some rishi, is trying to accept on behalf of Dasharatha. But this is a narrative panel. It's not that only the ritual part. There are many things happening in the palace. So Dasharatha with his 3 queens, he is consulting the queens, telling them, convincing them that this is important. We have to perform, and his room also, the interior part where he rests, that is also shown, and then finally he is shown that he is performing the yagna. But all the details we provided. When you read the metadata, you come to know the entire narrative. I may have some. This is from the British Library collection. Folio number 6. Seen late in an audience hall. On the left, Dasharatha is seated on a throne, is eating a betel leaf. He is eating a betel leaf, and you can see the betel leaf. When you zoom it, you can see it. He is surrounded by courtiers and attendants, some seated and some standing. On the right are 2 rows of courtiers seated on the floor. In the foreground are 3 attendants and musicians, red and green background, text on the reverse. So the reverse side was used for text always. Performance of Ashwamedha. You can see the birds in queue, the animals in queue, and the horse waiting for sacrifice. On the left, there are 5 sacrificial animals and birds, and a white horse attended to by 5 women. On the top right panel, Dasharatha is conversing with a priest, and in the lower panel are priests offering oblation to the sacred fire. Red, blue and yellow background, blue sky with stars, and the Christian moon on top. So that is also, I don't know how do you use this? So that every detail, you can see, you can zoom and see even the expression on their faces, the gesture. Each gesture is different. Each portrait is different. I think that's the beauty of Mewar Ramayana. You don't see repetition. This is Rama, Lakshmana and Vishwamitra. Seen late on the river bank, in which some hermits are taking their baths, Rama, Lakshmana and Vishwamitra. You can see. are crossing the river in a boat. Now they are crossing. So it's a narrative painting. It starts from here and then it goes like that. In the upper part, Rama, Lakshmana and Vishwamitra are proceeding to meet a rishi who is performing penance in a cave. Yellow foreground covered with trees, blue sky on top. Yeah. No, name is not given. He, the rishi is performing penance. You could see here in a cave, and Vishwamitra taking them, Rama and Lakshman, to the cave to meet the rishi. But the name of the rishi is not given. But you can see that there are other rishis also in a cave. They are also in meditation. This is interesting, the breaking of the bow, and so much so happening. Now the folio, the size, it's about say 10 inches by 4 inches. Now just imagine, so many characters and so much happening within that space. And that is why Mayor Ramayana, Mayor school is famous for that, all narrative paintings, narrative depiction. The scene lay within the palace compound with tents. You can see the tents, with tents. In the left upper part, Vanaka with his courtiers is conversing with Vishwamitra accompanied by Rama. This is that. Accompanied by Rama. While a few ladies look on, ladies are looking on. In the center, the hermits and Brahmins perform the fire sacrifice. A little further to the right are shown a large number of kings, some of whom have fainted while attempting to raise the bow. You could see them. Can you see the expression? Fainted because they could not lift the bow, so they all fainted. The way poet described and the expression. So they are all in queue, and many of them collapsed.
One more beauty, if you allow me, I can.
Yeah, please.
Continuity of event.
Yeah, there's a continuity of event.
He is trying, just putting the.
Yeah, that's the beauty.
And then going.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Mewar. That's the beauty of Mewar narration. That in different stages they show the process. That first stage, second stage, third stage. So here you see that he is lifting, and then he lifted, and then he broke. A little further to the right are shown a large number of kings, some of whom have fainted while attempting to raise the bow. In the foreground, on the left, the bow is being dragged on a cart. In the center, that it was brought in a cart. You see that, In the center, Rama has broken the bow. A little further is seen a horseman. The yellow foreground is covered with flowers and floral sprays, a green background and a blue sky on top. So the ritual is taking place. First, he entered and then having conversation. Other princess kings, they are in queue. Some of them collapsed. Then Rama's turn. Rama picked it up, lifted, and then broke. Even how the bow was brought. This is in our collection. This is a beautiful painting, meeting of Parashurama and Rama. And I remember distinctly, when I joined the museum as an intern, my predecessor, Dr. Kalpana Desai, she used to explain, and we were very fortunate once Khandala Wala Sahab, took us to the miniature painting gallery, and then he also started explaining. This is, showing the height of ego. Now I'm coming to that point, I just read out the description, then I come to the point. Seen laid on undulating ground, the mounds painted grey, green, purple, and yellow are covered with trees and grass. On the left are Rama and his brothers, on 2 chariots followed by horsemen and elephant riders. In the second incident, Rama and Dasharatha are shown receiving Parashurama. On the right is Parashurama armed with an axe and bow and arrows. The gods are standing behind him. In the right corner, Parashurama is going away, apparently satisfied. The Brahmins and hermits are performing yagna in the foreground, grey and blue sky on top. Now this is the description. But the interpretation by Khandala Wala Sahab, Kal Khandala Wala, so he said, Parashurama got to know that Rama, the boy, broke the Shiva's bow. And he, he felt that I am the, one who can, break Shiva's or, Vishnu's bow. And who is this child? How can, he breaks Shiva's bow? So when procession, coming towards Ayodhya, he came running to challenge Rama that, okay, okay boy, you broke the Shiva's bow, that is all right, but now you demonstrate you broke my bow that was given by Vishnu. So if you can break my bow and show it to me, I will accept, your power. What people talk about you, I will accept it and I will bow before you. So Rama, accepted the challenge, but when Parashurama is saying that, challenging Rama, you see that, in miniature painting, Rama is shown like a normal figure. The height and everything, like a child normal figure. Dasharatha with folded hands. But the challenge, the ego, the amount of ego, his height is shown, touching the sky. So sometimes we say that, ego touching the sky. So here, Khandala Wala Sahib, he was saying that he is shown as, the touching the sky. That what you have done is nothing, breaking Shiva's bow is nothing. If you can break my bow, then I can accept. And then he breaks, and when he breaks, his ego, goes down, and he becomes, a normal human, and then he lives. and these things, we see every time, everywhere. The marriage feast. This is also in our collection. And what is interesting, if you zoom, then you could see, that they are cooking payasam, they are cooking rice, and the chapati, that somebody is making chapati. You could see that, the dog and the chapati, making chapati, the cooking vessels, the payasam, rice, everything, you can identify. With the magnifying glass, if you see, but it has that facility that you can see. You just zoom it, and then you see. The description, scene divided into two panels. In the left panel can be seen male citizens and Brahmins and women seated in 3 rows and partaking of food served by an attendant. The background is red, green, and yellow. In the right panel is a kitchen. Cooks are engaged in preparing food. Attendants are carrying the baskets and trays of food to serve the party outside. Blue background, blue sky on top. Feasts are prepared for all in Dasharath's kingdom who attend the sacrifice. Brahmins, ascetics, beggars, the aged and infirm. Women and children are all fed daily during the sacrificial proceedings. King Dasharatha has given orders that everyone in his kingdom who attends the sacrifice should be provided for generously. On the right, food and refreshment are being prepared in enormous quantities for all. On the left, men, priests, and women seated in rows are served by King Dasharatha. So, if you see that, my interpretation, the nobleman, royal noblemen on the top, the Brahmins and their children. Now, Brahmins and their children, you see the gender bias in our society. You don't see girl child. With fathers, you don't see girl child. You see only the boy with Brahmins. And then all girl child, with mothers, the 3rd row. So that the artist, captured gender bias in our ancient society very, very nicely, cleverly. Rama is driven into exile as Dasharatha and the queens bid farewell. So you could see Dasharatha and his expression. And the queen, the 3, one did not join, only 2. You know the reason. Rama, his wife, and his brother ride off in a chariot driven by Subhantra and surrounded by the grieving town people. They are all, watching. But what is interesting, I want you to observe shoes. If you look at, that they are wearing shoes, but these are typical Persian shoes you find in Mughal miniatures. Sumantra and surrounded by the grieving town people whose tears settle the dust raised by the chariot's progress. Dasharatha hurries from his palace and goes through the gate of the city surrounded by his queens, their agony expressed in their outstretched arms, begging them to stop for a while. Dasharatha and Kaushalya run after the chariot, crying for it to stop, until Rama, unable to bear the sight and sound, tells Sumantra to pretend he did not hear and to quicken his pace so that they would be left behind. So he is not looking back and he is pretending that there is no sound, there is no noise. He didn't hear anything, asking Sumantra to speed up. And with the magnifying glass, or if you zoom, you could see the tears. The people are crying, and they are very much visible. This is interesting. Uh, Again from the British Library. Uh, Having arrived on the island of Lanka, Hanuman has shrunk to his normal size. Hanuman is here. You see, Hanuman is here. To his normal size, and eventually finds Sita near a dazzling white temple situated in a grove of Ashoka trees within the palace complex. She is seated on the ground like a female ascetic and sunk in melancholy. From his perch in a tree, Hanuman can see her guarded by female demons and surrounded by Ravan's wives, the daughters of gods and other divine creatures, whom he had already captured. Ten-headed Ravana comes to beg her to marry him, but she repulses him. If she doesn't change her mind, Ravana threatens he will have her killed. One of his wives seeks to divert him, and he returns to his palace with her. Now, you could see, that Ravana is trying to persuade Sita to marry him, and Ravana's wife, she is not enjoying the scene, and she is, trying to pull him that let's go inside, and then pulling him and taking him inside. And here, the wonder, the Bishay, if you see their expression, unbelievable. Each one has a different expression. They are scared. They are expecting, something might happen. So the dirt, the fear, each expression is different. 2 minutes, just, I think almost finished. So this is that, the fighting. For 7 days and 7 nights, the conflict between the two rages. Rama's arrows cut off each of Ravana's heads in turn. Here is a, you could see that, only to see them grow again, and Rama is despairing of ever finding a weapon that will finish the demon forever. Matali, his charioteer, then reminds Rama to use his Brahma weapon, which he fires while reciting the required sacred formula. This weapon pierces Ravana's breast and comes out the other side before returning submissively to Rama's quiver. Ravana finally falls lifeless from his chariot. The celestials rejoice, the surviving demons depart, and Rama receives the homage of Vibhishana, whose grief on the death of his brother Rama consoles, and that of all the monkey leaders and Jambana. So you could see that, Vibhishan, Rama, console Vibhishan. And then the acknowledging, thanking Hanuman and others. But this is unthinkable, the way, artists imagine and captured all divine, throwing flowers. I have last, and this last one you must see very closely. This is really interesting. Waking up Kumbhakarna. Just see and study, you can discover many things. Now, what is happening there? What is happening? The food, stored, he will wake up, and you see, bulls, buffaloes, they are all, food. So he will wake up and he will eat them. And the way, they are shouting, the demons are shouting. Even the donkey is praying. I'm not going to read the description, but this is an amazing painting. The way artist captured the moment. So I end with this. This is all about the project. So it will come back soon, maybe next month. You can have access to this on our website or British Library website. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Dr. Sanjeev Singh, sir, to kindly come up and speak. Okay, so now I request Dr. A.P. Jamketkar, sir, to please come and say a few words. Sir, you are requested to please come and say a few words.
A chairman of the Indian Artistic Congress, Professor Tiwari ji, office bearers, and all my friends. I am very happy because of one thing, that this was not a simple, usual academic lecture. It was academic, but at the same time, it was very pleasant to listen to some of the golden moments about the friendship between Dr. Chaudhary and today's speaker, learned speaker, Sabyasachi ji. There are 2 or 3 things which came to my mind. When I was a recipient of the reciprocal fellowship, it was Professor van Lohuizen de Leeuw who taught us the Central Asian Buddhist art, the Amaravati School of Painting, sculptures. And then she used to teach us about the Javanese art. When I remember her lectures, it was many times something like that of a detective, because she used to say that this piece is there in the museum, but from where it came, we don't know. And then she used to very intelligently trace the original place. So this has happened in the colonial period. Many of the things which went, whatever way, he said that they were gifted to Todd and then it turned to so many things. We know about Hastings, you see, so many things which were taken away and now they are returned to the British Museum. Another part is that, well, he mentioned about that in 1982, some of the paintings went there. It is a very sad story. I remember the origin of the making of the 1973 Antiquities Act. It was because of Dr. Deshpande, then Deputy Minister at that time, Nurul Hasan, that this act came on. Because Indiraji was told that at least 7 shiploads of antiquities they leave this shore. It was after independence, you can imagine. And then as a chairman of the Antiquities Committee, I could realize how many antiquities they are still taken away. So it was not a wonder that in 1982, and I am telling you one thing, of course, it is a very sad thing, And many times such antiquities go through the diplomatic bags also. Very sad. We need not mention. The third thing which comes to my mind is about the distribution of the paintings. In Nagpur Museum, for example, we have got the Bhosla collection. And what these princes many times out of their, of course, personal concern and their sense of right or something like that. So when the division took place, so some of the folios went to one son, some of the folios went to another. And in Nagpur we had two, you can say, branches. So some paintings went to one branch, some manuscripts went, parts of the manuscripts, you see. If you see the Aurangabad collection, for example, museum, it tells the same story. And then one of the most important points which was mentioned about him is that our attitude not to share. It all starts with a particular type of mentality, you see. When Begler went to Ramtek, he was not allowed to go inside because he was not a Hindu. To go inside, and therefore he says that there is one deity called Zarokha. Actually it is a window. But he thought that it was a deity because he was not allowed to go inside. And I remember that myself and Gorakshkar, we had to strive a lot. Say, for example, the collection which is there, Raja Kelkar Museum. He said, no. They had a plan to have a joint exhibition. And then afterwards, as he refused, myself had to go to different museums of my own state department, and within 7 days we had to do that exhibition. Probably we'll have to learn from such type of experiences how sharing is more important and how it has to be done. And I congratulate Dr. Our Sabyasachi Mukherjee that he has been striving for that. And this lecture, if it even makes us aware that whatever we have got, because people used to refuse to give the antiquities for the exhibition. No, we don't give antiquities. This is not the way. So this particular effort, and I again congratulate the CVS authorities to have thought of this, and especially personally, Sabyasachi Mukherjee, this will have to be done in the future. That whatever collections are scattered over, they have to be brought together, and they are to be brought to the service of the people in general, connoisseurs in general, and especially the scholars. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts. Again, wonderful.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Dr. Sanjeev Singh, sir, to kindly come and speak a few words about the Dr. R.D. Chaudhary and his contribution.
जय श्री राम। जब किसी ऐसे व्यक्तित्व के विषय में बात करने की बात होती है, या तो आप बहुत रोमांचित होते हैं या भावात्मक रूप से द्रवित होते हैं। डॉक्टर R.D. चौधरी यानी कि रविंद्र देव चौधरी जी के विषय में जब हम बात करते हैं तो उनके आज जो बात करने वाले हैं 2-3 मिनट में, शुद्ध रूप से उनके भारतीय कला इतिहास कांग्रेस की संकल्पना, उनके व्यक्तित्व और ये 32 वर्ष की जो जर्नी है, द जर्नी ऑफ 32 years ऑफ इंडियन आर्ट हिस्ट्री कांग्रेस, conceptualized and founded by the legendary R.D. Chaudhary, late रविंद्र देव चौधरी, जो 1944 में इस भारत में जन्म लिए और अखिल भारतीय स्वरूप को अगर किसी ने प्रतिपादित किया और कला इतिहास को किसी ने जोड़ा और इतिहास में कला को एक विशिष्ट स्थान दिलवाया, तो उसमें आर.डी. चौधरी का भी नाम है। और ये उदाहरण है कि 32 बरस से भारत के विभिन्न भागों से आए हुए विभिन्न तरह के विद्वान, आप जैसे मनीषी यहाँ होते हैं, और उस मनीषी के कारण ही हम लोग यहाँ जुड़ते हैं और अपने शोध प्रबंध, शोध पत्र और शोधात्मक गतिविधियों से लोगों को अवगत करवाते हैं। आर.डी. चौधरी 1992 की बात है, बात तो 1986 की है, जब NMI म्यूजियम एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडिया का एक सभा होती है और उसमें आर.डी. चौधरी जी भी जाते हैं। परिकल्पना होती है कि एक ऐसा संगठन बनाया जाए जो भारतीय कला इतिहास के प्रति समर्पित हो, और वह क्षण 1992 में आता है जब वो राष्ट्रीय संग्रहालय के महानिदेशक और इस इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हेरिटेज, जो नेशनल म्यूजियम इंस्टीट्यूट कहलाता था, उसके कुलपति बन जाते हैं। तो वो परिकल्पना होती है और पहली बैठक 1992 में ही संबोधित होती। और वो मुझे ध्यान है कि वो ज्ञान गंगा हिताय नः, जो इनका मूल वाक्य है, इनके मूल वाक्य हैं इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हेरिटेज के, ज्ञान गंगा हिताय नः, को अगर आर.डी. चौधरी और R.C. शर्मा ने लिया था तो निश्चित रूप से कला इतिहास में इस आर्ष वाक्य को उद्घाटित भी किया था। आर.डी. चौधरी साहब, मैं उनके एकेडमिक और प्रशासनिक जीवन के विषय में नहीं बोलूँगा मित्रों। आई विल जस्ट टेल यू अबाउट आर.डी. चौधरी, द फाउंडर ऑफ इंडियन आर्ट हिस्ट्री कांग्रेस। वो 1992 में जब उनकी गति जब बनती है, वो स्थापना करते हैं, पूरे भारत से मनीषी आते हैं आपके जैसे और उसको संपुष्ट और समृद्ध करते हैं। और आर.डी. चौधरी इतने रूथलेस थे, आप ये कहेंगे आप क्रूर शब्द क्यों प्रयोग कर रहा हूँ मैं, वो थे कि वो चाहते थे कि साहित्य और कला का जो भी शोध प्रबंध हो, और इसलिए वो अपने एडिटर को कहा करते थे कि भैया आपके कोई संबंधी नहीं है, आपके कोई भाई नहीं है, आपको कोई सगा नहीं है, शोध पत्र अगर प्रामाणिक है, संदर्भित है और सुंदर है, लोक रुचि का है और लोका भावना की है, तो वो जरूर छपना चाहिए। और अगर सगे संबंधी की भाषा अच्छी हो लेकिन गुणात्मक नहीं हो तो वह चीज़ नहीं जानी चाहिए। ये उनका वैशिष्ट्य था। अब फिर भी इतने रूथलेस होने के बावजूद हर कोई हृदय से उनको आदर करता था, प्रेम नहीं। बड़े भी उनको श्रद्धा के साथ पूजते थे और छोटे भी उनको उसी तरह से सम्मानित करते थे। ये व्यक्तित्व बहुत कम लोगों में होता है। आर.डी. चौधरी का व्यक्तित्व ये था, जब भी वो मिलते थे हर सेशन में इधर से उधर जाते रहते थे। और यंग को खास करके, जो युवा हैं, जो कल के हमारे बडिंग हैं, जो उभरते हुए कला इतिहासविद हैं, उनको कहते थे बेटा बेटी लिखा करो, बढ़िया लिखा करो, छपो। और ये प्रेरणा कौन देता है? ये पिता, उनका जो है व्यक्तित्व पिता समान था। और मेरे से और जो यहाँ मंच पर बैठे हैं उनका गुणात्मक गुण तो था ही। दूसरी बात है कि वो एक चीज़ में बड़े पर्टिकुलर थे, बहुत दृढ़ प्रतिज्ञ थे कि प्रोसीडिंग्स छपनी ही चाहिए, क्योंकि ये आपके साल भर के सोचे हुए समझ को जब आप उद्घाटित और प्रकटित करते हैं, व्हेन यू डिस्प्ले इट in the form of your presentation or narrations, it must be seen by visualized by the galaxy of scholars around the globe. और इसी कारण से हमारी प्रोसीडिंग्स, हमारे कला प्रोसीडिंग्स और कला हमारी एक जर्नल है और एक प्रोसीडिंग्स जो हम छापते हैं, ये दोनों उनके गुणात्मक चीज़ों में हैं। और उनकी जो परिधारा है, उनकी जो परंपरा है, उनकी जो दी हुई सोच है, हम उसको बढ़ा रहे हैं। और आज हमारे समक्ष विद्वतगण में मारुति नंदन प्रसाद तिवारी जी अध्यक्ष हैं, प्रोफेसर सोमशेखर जी महासचिव हैं। तो ये पद नहीं है। और मैं आपको बताऊं कि उन्होंने एक परिकल्पना की थी, हम पद की बात नहीं करेंगे, हम बात साहचर्य, सद्भाव और लोक कल्याण में कला की उपयोगिता की बात करेंगे। और यही कार्य हम लोग कर रहे हैं। वी ऑल आर डूइंग द सेम एंड इट इज़ बेस्ट होमेज to the Dr. R.D. Chaudhary that we are assembled here, we are assembling all that here, and the next session where will be decided by the committee that will be held. But it is certain that we are indebted to the great personality, great vision, and great devotion of Dr. R.D. Chaudhary, who born in 1944 and left this world a few years back. And we have planned, Dr. Maruti Nandan Tiwari ji is here. We have planned the Kalp Bricks in felicitation of Dr. R.D. Chaudhary, but it was turned to the commemorative volume because few days back he has left us, and we are in tears when we gave the copy to his family. We are touched. ऐसे बिरले लोग होते हैं। और आज रामायण पे आपने बात की सभी साथी मुखर्जी साहब ने। हम परिकल्पना कर रहे थे, जब अयोध्या से चले थे हम परिकल्पना कर रहे थे, हम पूजा कर रहे थे, और मंदिर में जब गए हमने पूजा की, प्रभु ये 32वां सेशन जिस तरह से 31वां संपन्न हुआ है, सकुशल इस तरह से संपन्न हो, और कामना की कि भविष्य में भी हमारी भारतीय कला इतिहास कांग्रेस के जो सेशन हों बहुत ही दृढ़ता से हो। और मैंने प्रार्थना की और मैं प्रसाद लेकर आया हूँ कि प्रभु राम के चरणों में, उनके मंदिर में जो चढ़ाए गए प्रसाद हैं वो अगर आप बंटवा दें तो जिनकी इच्छा हो लें, और अगर कम पड़ जाए तो वो पुड़िया है उसमें बांट के खा भी लें। तो राम के दाने दाने में है। मैं परिकल्पना करता हूँ आर.डी. चौधरी साहब के लिए भी मैंने प्रार्थना की कि उनकी आत्मा को सदैव शांति मिले, लेकिन वो सदैव हमारे साथ भी रहें प्रेरणा के रूप में। बस।
Thank you, sir. I now request all of us to kindly gather outside for the tea break. It is for 15 minutes, then followed by the sessions to be held in 4 different venues on the 2nd floor. Delegates are kindly requested to go through the program booklet. Thank you.